Hey, so you and me, we've been talking real casually to each other for a while, but I gotta ask, how do you know my name? Who doesn't know the undie boss of Kusai? Undie boss? The hell is that? It's kind of familiar, but it also kind of pisses me off. And time to read again. Fantastic. 2 something 1308 Alba Park. Middle-aged security guard. That's definitely Tetsuya's voice. Unbelievable. How can this be? Is that Tetsuya's dad? So is he just a security guard now? Obviously, like his, because he got booted off the force. Former Detective So removed the earphone, shook his head, and looked up at me. After a moment, he half rose from the bench and handed the voice recorder back to me. There was no change in his dumbfounded expression, of course. Shiori. If I hadn't seen Tetsuya-kun and Sudo's personas myself, I doubt I'd have believed it either. The voice recorder played back what Tetsuya-kun told me about the events on the other side and his guesses about what's going to happen on this side. He finally told me after I promised to keep it a secret, but I secretly recorded it. Sorry, Tetsuya-kun. Adults will lie without batting an eye. Persona. But is it really possible for rumors to come true? I removed the charm that I'd inserted into my police notebook. This is the student emblem that Tetsuya-kun lent me. Supposedly, so long as you have the Seven Sisters emblem on you, you'll be safe even if Joker targets you. It's been a hot topic among the kids lately, and in truth, Sudo hasn't appeared before me ever since. So I said, but he probably couldn't believe me. Adults needed adult logic. If you'd like to verify for yourself, try going to the bar called Parabellum. It's near this park. Just as the rumors say they have things like this for sale. I opened the front of my jacket and drew the G33 from the shoulder holster hanging under my left side. Then removed the magazine to be on the safe side and handed him the gun in pieces. It might be an ultra-compact handgun that you could tuck into the palm of your hand, but it used 357 SIG bullets. It had firepower comparable to 357 Magnum close to 5 times that of the .32s. The station lent us. It's often called a pocket rocket. Naturally, these don't get supplied to the Japanese police officers. These guns were lent for work, have to be returned each day to the service office, so I purchased this weapon for my own personal protection. If you abide by the rules against criminals who use personas or demons or whatever, you won't be able to defend yourself. This is the real thing? So the former detective growled as he verified the weight of the gun and the bullets in the magazine. Said rounds aren't the so-called full metal jackets, which are the full penetration ammo allowed for use in P230s, or P230 JPs and new Nimbus. These were jacketed hollow points which expose the lead on the tip and have a pit in the center. They were warheads meant to stop a person stone dead. Their penetrative power fell short compared to FMJ's. Jesus, bro. But when it came to dealing damage to soft targets like human bodies, they were far superior. This is because the lead mushroomed at the moment of impact. It efficiently delivered a shock and caused massive blood loss. As a result, their use was prohibited in international warfare per the Hague Convention. I heard it's because they were deemed inhumane due to the unnecessary suffering they caused. Apparently, there was such a thing in this world as humane warfare. Black stars and Makarovs aren't something you can get your hands on at a moment's notice. Even using black market routes from the mainland, the Philippines, and Russia. I don't know how it works precisely, but I can only conclude that rumors have become true. Put that away right now. Sosan handed back the gun and magazine, then rested his chin on his hand, which were propped on top of his thighs, and uttered another groan. Next to him, the wrappers for the anpan we'd lined up and eaten together earlier swayed in the autumn breeze from under the cardboard milk pack. He squeezed in time for me during his lunch break, so we wound up eating here as we talked. It's barely any meal at all for a security guard who spent all of his time on his feet, but we couldn't exactly chat about all this at the cafe around the corner. I asked when his lunch break ended, and that's the time and that time's already passed. I'd feel bad to keep him here for much longer. I better get back to the main issue. Even now, Tetsuya-kun is pursuing Sudo. He believes he's the only one who can cope with the situation, or rather, he believes that as the only one who hasn't lost his memory, he has to do this all alone. That's why. Is Katsuya aware of the situation? No, I suspect not. It seems Sergeant So is cooperating with a woman named Maya Amano, whom Tetsuya-kun is trying to protect. Tetsuya-kun said he doesn't want to get his friends from the other side or his family involved. That's why he left home. This is fundamentally not a task for children. It's our jobs as police officers. However, you and I both know that the police are not reliable. Togashi's still. Thinking over his former friend So-san looked up at me as if begging for good news. I didn't have any. I didn't have any I could tell him though. He's connected to Tatsuzo Sudo. It's clear that he and the Captain Shimazu are obstructing the investigation to make sure Tatsuya Sudo doesn't get detained. Togashi. ... He seemed to age 10 years as his head sagged down, hand on his brow. It was probably tough knowing his best friend betrayed him and continued to participate in the crimes for which he should have been arrested. Somewhere inside, he had still trusted Togashi. Right now, the only one who can defeat Sudo and protect the world is Tatsuya-kun. I realize I'm asking too much, but he can't shoulder the burden all alone. I'll support him to the extent that I'm capable. Tatsuya-kun needs the help of adults who know what's really happening. We first met at Zodiac during its remodeling after hearing about the inevitability of Takuya's death, and the secrets of the world. I forced Tatsuya-kun to make a deal with me. I'd provide him with a place to stay and information on the Sudo investigation. In return, he'd make sure Sudo dies and stays dead. Most likely, no matter how things go, Tatsuya-kun will eventually have to settle things with Sudo regardless. Legally speaking, there might be room to assert that it was legitimate self-defense. However, that doesn't change the fact that he's hurting and killing someone. No matter how evil that someone may be, the fact that he's ending their life will leave an indelible scar on Tatsuya-kun's heart. But it's not all his fault. I'm the one who requested Sudo's death. I don't care if it's just a consolation. It might be enough to allow him to forgive himself. Could you possibly let Tatsuya-kun do as he wills? So-san stood up, and then the shade of anguish fading from his eyes. It seemed he'd made the decision to watch over his son, who was trying to oppose a cruel fate. Understood. I feel at ease knowing that he's in your care. I'll talk to my wife and withdraw the missing persons report. Thank you very much. I bowed my head, grateful from the bottom of my heart. He was basically telling me he was giving me his son's life, when I couldn't have complained if he'd struck me instead. But with this, it should get a little easier for Tatsuya-kun to make his move. Even at the best of times, he stands out. So long as he's moving around in the city, it's better to remove as many unnecessary hurdles as possible. I never dreamed that I'd get mixed up in something like this. Is this what you'd call fate? I'd meant to do this for their sake, but ultimately I ended up pushing my failure onto my sons. I'm truly sorry to you too, Shiori-san. I capitulated to Tatsuzo's threats to protect my family. Thanks to that, you're now in this position. So-san and me, Chief Togashi and Sudo's son, the head of investigations, and the kids who created this side, and finally the woman who holds the fate of the world, Maya Amano. Tatsuya's core connection spread out from him like a mandala, but a warped one, fashioned by a malicious artisan to mock its subject and viewers. While the individuals look unrelated at a glance, they draw a similar relationship chart through someone else. For us, whose names joined the list without any of us the wiser, 10 years' time hasn't given us any resolution at all. All the loss and despair we struggled to endure, all the sorrow and rage that piled up on us was nothing more than an overture. That said, we'd have plenty of time to make sure we'd recover. Even so, don't underestimate us humans. I'm sure I'd have done the same had I been in your shoes, besides which, I'm glad now that I became a policewoman. I got to meet Tatsuya-kun, and I can extend a hand to kids who have committed crimes without forcing them into the twisted society adults created. It might be impossible for now, but one day I want to make our society one where kids like Tatsuya-kun can live with a smile. That's the task of us adults. Kids mustn't be forced into a world where they have to sacrifice something in order to enter it. I heard the girl's voice. I heard the Aerospace Museum blimp is flying. Let's go check it out. Whoa, the rumor of flies is true. Let's go. Let us go. Overhearing the voices of children running nearby, So-san and I shared a glance and looked up at the sky. I couldn't see it from here, but perhaps it was true that the blimp was flying. Come to think of it, I heard the fire truck sirens wailing just a bit ago. I don't know why, but I got the feeling that Tatsuya-kun's almost certainly on that blimp. See it through to the end, Tatsuya-kun, so you don't regret a thing. Goddamn. Conan Lunar Palace Shiori something. This is at 16 at 4 p.m. I'm home. I knew there wouldn't be a response at this hour. Shiori-san should still be at work. I still felt like I'm barging in here, but if I treated it as anything but home, she'd get mad. I hopped into the bathroom and took a shower with my motorcycle leathers still on. Why? It was already soaked with loads. Okay, I guess. It's quicker to wash off the salt this way. Tatsuya Sudo is dead, but I don't think this is the end. Mayani also hadn't given up. It seemed like all of them, my brother, Yulala-san, and that other guy, were chasing me and Sudo down. When I saved Yoshizaka at the 7th clock tower, I gave Mayani an emblem and advised her to spread a rumor, so I figured it'd be safe for me to leave her alone for now. I was naive. The more I pulled away, the more she approached me with that steady smile until before I knew it, I couldn't get her out of my head. Even way back, she would have gone to me like that, but giving her that advice was only fuel for her engine. Still, I was right to keep an eye out for June in the meantime. I knew Sudo, who had already tried to abduct Yoshizaka, would absolutely try to force June into the masked role of Joker, and I had been right. Honestly, I wanted to settle up with Sudo before he captured June, but I got thrown off when Mayani appeared. I decided I'd never have anything directly to do with him again, but June got involved, and at that time, he ended up recognizing my face. Really, at this rate, I need at least 5 of me to protect anyone. I'm sure he picked his next move ages ago. It's obvious I still haven't got even 1 millimeter off the rails he laid down. Once I stripped and washed the salt off my skin too, I got out of the shower and changed into the jeans Shiori-san bought me. I'd like to just let my leathers dry in the sun, but there wasn't any point. I flipped the switch on the dryer in the washroom. I headed to the room I'd been borrowing and threw myself down onto the single sofa bed. Aside from the sofa bed, there were 10 cardboard boxes of Shiori-san's in the corner that she hadn't unpacked, and a clothing case for me. That was it. I was grateful just to have a place I can stay, somewhere close to Mayani in case anything happened. That was more than enough. However, I really should have left without saying a word. The night we met at Zodiac and kept Shiori-san from getting involved with this any further. But Shiori-san told me about her younger brother I couldn't leave in silence. Then her brother was murdered by Sudo in my place. 10 years ago, the day Shiori-san's younger brother was killed was the same day Mayani and myself were locked up in Elias Shrine on the other side. The other side, Sudo set the shrine on fire while we were locked up inside it. Since I was just a kid, I was finally able to escape by just barely squeezing through a gap in the floorboards. I went outside in order to save Mayani, but I was stabbed in the back. That's when I awoke to my persona and burned Sudo's face. Sudo thought that Mayani had done that, so that's why he stalked her. But when we lost to him, in order to recreate the world where Mayani lived, we changed history a little bit and some things were erased so they never happened. On this side, we all never met 10 years ago, so Sudo also never stabbed me. To fill that hole, Shiori-san's little brother was killed. I understood why. It was a present from him, showing me what happens when we change history. Damn it, you fucking bastard. I twisted and pulled at my hair. I hated him so much I could go mad. I won't forgive him. I wanted to kill him. I wanted to die and disappear. I dug my nails into the mark he left on my right arm. And then the phone rang. Mushi mushi.
Let's positive speaking! メッセージは前向きにね。
Huh? The sudden ringing of the telephone brought me to my senses. I was so overwhelmed by exhaustion that I thought I heard Mayane's voice on the answering machine's message. The incoming call was on the landline in Shiori-san's room, but something was odd. The person who called in didn't say a word or hang up. They just stayed on the line, silent. I strained my ears on what I could hear in the next room through the slightly ajar door. It was after maybe a minute that a voice suddenly, hesitantly, began to whisper. I know who you called. If you're capable of hearing this, contact Sergeant So as soon as you can. Contact my brother? I didn't get it. I guess the guy who called Shiori-san was in trouble. Wait, who you called? I had a bad feeling about this. I jumped on my feet, hurried into Shiori-san's room, and turned on the TV. On the other side, he got humanity to self-destruct by making rumors come true and spreading anxiety through society. I got the sense that by going out of his way to make me run into Sudo and spreading the rumors about Joker, he was using the same tricks even on this side. Even the news was just another one of his tools. I flipped through the channels until a program with that shady fortune teller woman who did the Wanglong fortunes that were popular these days caught my attention. Wanglong Chizuru. Kegare calls forth further Kegare, and Joka causes sin to increase. The more people sin, the greater Kegare power becomes. It is cause and effect. You must not let jealousy and petty grudges consume you. You must not perform the Joker curse. If you do, you will be possessed by Joka. Thus, those who perform the curse will end up becoming a Joker themselves. What the? Wow, so then the Joker isn't just one particular person. My heart pounded in my throat as every hair on my body stood on end. My memories of the other side and what happened on this side intersected dizzily in my head, and I understood what the answering machine message from a moment ago and Sudo's last words meant. The man who phoned in knew both that Shiori-san had called Joker and that was said on TV just now, so he furtively warned her that there was a danger that she herself would become Joker. I didn't know who the hell that was, but it was someone who knew what's going on, but he couldn't do anything about it himself. That was why he told her to ask my brother for help. Shiori-san said that there were guys in the police force who were trying to mislead the investigation on Joker and Sudo. Most likely he was someone in the police who knew that same as Shiori-san. The fear has been spread. The Joker won't die. What Sudo was saying was that this is how Joker will circulate and multiply. I leapt at the phone in that room and called Shiori-san's cell number, which I had memorized. Come on, pick up. Joker was already drawing society's attention. Air a program like this and it'd become a rumor in a flash. It was a matter of time before Joker would appear all over town. Respectable people would just laugh off a program like this, but what happens if what the rumored fortune teller says comes true? What was a joke will become the seed for what if for a ton of people. People will spread it by word of mouth. Fear and anxiety will in turn spread like an epidemic, and at last it will become reality. That's how the curse that people unknowingly set off became common knowledge, and the other side fell to ruin, just as he planned. The same thing was starting to happen here, with the person closest to me as the sacrifice. Damn it. No good, she wasn't picking up. It alarmed me that it wasn't even going to her voicemail. I headed back to my room, picked up the sword I stole from Sudo at Zodiac, and left Shiori-san's house. I needed to find her before she killed someone. 4-22-24 Science Research Lab. Mayan, you still haven't given up. When I jumped the security fence and reached what looked like the security room for the research lab, I found the security guards had already been overcome and the alarms and monitors cut. No wonder it was so easy for me to sneak in. I found 3 warped coins on the floor next to the security guard collapsed in front of the door. There was only one person who could take out a gun-toting enemies with something like that. Baofu, that shady old man. Which meant Mayani and my brother were here too. They were probably a step ahead of me and got wind that the kidnapping Joker users were dragged here. This was going to be a pain. 2 full days had passed since I left Shiori-san's place and tracked the rumors to this place. In that time, Shiori-san hadn't returned home or to the police station. There was no mistake his underlings had kidnapped her. All over town, people who used the Joker curse had been turning into Joker users and for some reason getting kidnapped just as quickly by some unknown party. I needed to simultaneously rescue Shiori-san, Mayani, and the others, and figure out where the guys hunting down Joker users really were. They were the pawns he was using in a place of the mass circle. I'd knock out all 3 tasks at once. If possible, I wanted to get my hands on the information here before Mayani and the others did, then erase my tracks so they couldn't get in any deeper than they already had. Could I do it? No, I will do it. Do I have items this time? Okay, yeah. Okay. I should be still level like 66 or something like that. 63. Okay. And at 100 dex, basically. Okay. What the fuck are we doing here? That's closed. Does this work? It should work. It does not. We need to get to that same room, most likely. Fuck. Power. We're probably just better off using physical. Or Maragadine. Let's see how you guys deal with that. Hoi. Now Tetrakarn, I think that's for magic? That did fuck all. Now let's see if Tetrakarn lasts for multiple turns. I think we resist fire anyways, or absorb it. We got clean salt. Now I'm assuming this is, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's locked. And that is a fucking item back there. Okay. Time to do all this shit again. Fantastic. Freyla. I'll just use Agadine. Even though I think you resist fire. Unsure if you resist fire off of that. It seemed like decent damage. Yeah, you did not resist fire. Definitely going to turn off animations as well so we can get through here as fast as humanly possible. Turn that off. We are somewhat close to leveling too, so... yeah. And these fucking shit clouds again. Three Onusas, and I'm fucking poisoned. Antidote. And we don't have a healing spell, so medicines it is, and rattle drinks. Locked. Fucking negotiation. Yeah, just keep using Maragadine. hey. Well, we get out of the battle, it seems, very quickly. Locked again. Let us save, because that was a lot of dialogue that we just did, so... Let us head in here. Just fucking kidding. And we're possessed. Fantastic. Good thing we got some fucking Onusas. Let's head in here. Uh-huh. Huh. Yo. So, you're from Sevens, right? Yukichi, what the hell are you doing in a place like this? You scared me half to death. Why was he here? What am I doing here? What are you doing here? Did you come here with Amino-san and the others? So they were here after all. Judging by how he phrased it, it seemed like he bumped into Mayani and the others in the research building. You've got to be kidding me. I was going to have my work cut out for me at this rate. Yeah, where did Amino-san and the others go? I'm not too sure, but they went to investigate somewhere deeper inside the building. Damn, this place is something else. The guys who were taken here are in the back. Is that everyone? I didn't see any signs of Shiori-san. Yeah, these guys are the only ones here. I'm looking for a guy named Sugimoto myself. I heard they were doing human experiments, those bastards. This guy called Nanjo's gonna look after him at the hospital, so I'm gonna take him to the trailer in the parking lot. Nanjo Yukino-san's acquaintance. This place originally belonged to the Nanjo group. If this Nanjo was working with Mayani, then that might mean that not everyone in the company was acting as his pawns. Hey, you seen Sugimoto? He's a dude from my school, got a mug only a mother could love. Don't know him. I couldn't tell him that I knew his other side self very well. I'd be in trouble if this guy didn't forget everything. Still, Ikichi's reasons for being here suddenly hit me. Even on the other side, he and Sugimoto got on like cats and dogs. So you came here looking for him after you used the Joker curse on you. You're as soft-hearted as ever. You sure know a lot about me. Take this. I threw him a badge with the Seven's emblem depicted on it. Yukichi caught it and stared at it blankly. It could still be effective against Joker users. The hell is this? Don't tell me you buy that rumor too. Shut up and take it. I'll stick with you as far as the parking lot. Follow me. So long as the Ikichi and the synchronized Ikichi didn't remember the other side, he wouldn't be able to use his persona anymore. I couldn't leave him be. Hey, thanks. I owe you one, man. Can we go back in? Nope. Okay, clear that, there's down there, but I think this is just a big circle over here. Yep, and then this might be locked. Yeah, we need a level 1 key card for that. Fantastic, poisoned again, and we're running out of SP. And boy, does this guy have a lot of it. He will level up soon, hopefully, so yeah. That is our saving grace. Well, to be fair, we have this Trish Springs, so... Wait, what? Where am I supposed to go? I guess back to the garage, is what I'm guessing. If we have our 400k, I'm just gonna use Trish Springs. Yeah, we do. 18,000, bro, it's just me. This bitch. But I guess we have a lot of SP, to be fair. Yeah, okay. I thought something weird was going on, so you're the intruder. I made Ikichi wait outside, headed into the security control room, and walked into a face full of guns. I didn't figure the security guards had noticed me. I guess they came from another floor to check things out. What, a kid? Where the hell did you... I was no hero. I didn't need to wait for them to finish their lines before they finished babbling. I crouched down and dashed towards them. Yeah, just fucking Maragadine spam. Yep, there we go. Open this bad boy. I confirmed that there wasn't anyone else in the parking lot, then called to Ikichi. All clear, Ikichi, move it. You hide everyone inside, Ikichi. Don't close the door all the way. You'll suffocate to death. Yeah. Hey, so, you and me, we've been talking real casually to each other for a while, but I gotta ask, how do you know my name? Who doesn't know the Undi boss of Kuzai? Undi boss? The hell is that? It's kind of familiar, but it also kind of pisses me off. I messed up. It looks like he never had that nickname on this side. I couldn't talk to him any further than this. Whatever, just watch over these guys. Amino-san and the others will be back soon. Hey, what are you gonna do? We're gonna fuck some shit up. What am I gonna do? Is the elevator working now? Nope. Then I don't know what I'm gonna do, because we don't have a fucking key card. And I swear to God, if I have to fucking do some contact bullshit to get this key card, because this is just a fucking dead end. Unless I'm able to go back in there, I guess. It's only my real hope. Because that's still fucking locked. Went up too high. I guess we'll try it back in here. Don't need to be here. Well, I don't know where to go. Because that is a dead end, that's a dead end. Can't go anywhere further from there. It feels like I have to do a fucking contact, not gonna lie. We'll heal again. You're still closed, yes. That's closed. Maybe. The thing is, I haven't seen what's it called either. Fucking Rasputin, so. Yeah, I feel like I have to contact someone. Let me cheat this way. I'll be right back. Okay, I think we have to fight some guys somewhere. Okay, apparently we have to fight some guys somewhere on this floor. Unsure where though. Perhaps down here? Yes, okay. Hey you, what are you doing here? I was in a bad mood over Ikichi. Sorry guys, but I'm gonna take it out on you. And then we'll just fucking Maragadine you to fucking death. Does this land? No. Okay, fantastic. Okay. When the fuck did we get Nova Kaiser? Get rid of... Do we have the thing to get rid of illusion? We do. Okay, we're gonna need a... bead. And I'm illusioned again. Fantastic. What's your guys' health? Full fucking health. Now, can I get one turn of attacking without illusion? Nope. Fan-fucking-tastic. What a great fucking fight we're dealing with right here. Just fucking kill him. Fan-fucking-tastic. Security guards were carrying key cards marked as level 1 cards. It looked like they were local security. I took them. Okay. So that's level 1 down there. And then level 1 is also on the first floor next to Trish. Fuck it, Nova Kaiser, I guess. Let us save, because if more illusion bullshit is gonna happen, then we're not gonna have a good day. That goes up. Or no, wait, that wasn't a level 1 keycard. That was, that's the A, security thing. Let's switch again. How far away? I'm just gonna... Well, you know what? Actually, let me just fucking switch this. Yep. We'll go to Trish Springs, heal, then go to that room and get the items. I guess we're about to level up, but we have to go this way anyways. 2 beads. It's actually super helpful considering our situation. Thank you for the heal. Let's head to the left here. And we had Fury there for a second. Let's switch it back, because that's what it was before. Yeah, they're both fucked, so... Yeah, we can't even change your shit, so... The 99 dex, which is kind of insane, not to mention your fucking health. Not to mention your health is also off the charts, so yeah. Chewing souls are also nice. That is not locked. Fucking possession. Luckily we restocked up, or we stocked up recently on that. Or no, wait, did not mean to do that. Yep, there we go. That's closed, that's fine. Oh, Morganites are group, right? So I'm actually better off using Nova Kaiser right now, if they are separate enemies. We're not mapping shit right now, so we're gonna dodge those. We can go this way. Go up there. We need this to be a B. Just gonna double check these areas. Obviously, we know the correct way to do so, but just double checking if there's anything new here. Ow. That's level 2. We're out of SP. Chewing souls. This should lead us all the way to the back, but I think we can't do anything without the level 2 keycard. Yep. Then this is not working, right? Let us head down and let's swap this over to B configuration, or the B configuration. Yep, that is closed. We have to go up and around. And already out of SP again. And health. And that was all my rattle drinks, actually. That is terrible. Or no, wait, no. They go away because I can't use them anymore. Right. Silly me. Go down here. Locked. Of course I'm fucking muted. I'm assuming this was a dead end, yeah. Security guards were smoking in front of the fence, their backs to me, not very professional. Hey, is there really an intruder? Yeah, here's 2 young women and 3 men, just leave it be. They probably met Mayani and the others. Again, why won't there be trouble if what's going on here got out? The hell would I know, but it's orders from the from Shinjo-sama. Shinjo, I'd never heard of that name before, but it was clear he or she was more dangerous than these guys. Intentionally leaving intruders alone meant either they were confident they'd catch them in a trap or else they wouldn't get in their way. This kind of situation could get ugly real quick. Either way, it looked like I'd better hurry. I'd grabbed this key ring hanging from the older guy's belt. From the older guy's belt, he'd taken out another cigarette and was trying to light it. My lighter's out of gas. Hey kid, give me a light. The young guy nodded and started pawing at his pocket. What an idiot. Hey, what's taking so long? That's weird. I could have sworn I just had a light. I stretched out my left hand from behind them and held out my Zippo lighter. The older guy thanked me, lit up, and took in a deep, satisfying drag. I bought this thing because my hand felt empty without one. It'd surprisingly come in handy. Thanks, kid. Well, oh, here it is. Okay, here you. Oh, whoa. Didn't you get one from June? Just as the younger one who found his lighter, he finally noticed me, gaping in shock. Quick as a wink, I smashed my left elbow into the older guy's face and dropped him. Then I sandwiched the younger guys against the shutter and smashed the hilt of my sword onto the solar plexus. I saw the older man crumple to the ground from the corner of my eye. I went easier on the younger one. He managed to keep to his feet, doubled over in pain and gasping for air. I grabbed him by the nape of the neck, slammed him into the fence, then unsheathed my sword just enough to expose the blade, which I pressed against his neck. I know you've got a long-haired female cop named Shiori Miyashiro captured. Where is she? Fourth floor in the research lab. The elevator only has buttons for 3 floors. How do you go higher? The order you push the elevator buttons in is the security code. I heard... I don't know it. Who does? That guy? The supervisor in charge of security, he's in the room on the other side of this fence. Looks like I had to go by the elevator to get to the other side of the fence. When he told me the older guy's keyring had the key to the elevator switchboard, this time I gave him a knee to the solar plexus as a present and put him to sleep. It was probably pointless to ask these guys about Mayani and the others. I grabbed the key from the sprawled out older guy and as my reward for the light and then left the area. Okay. Yeah, so we don't have level 2 at all. We're kind of bypass that by just getting the key to the elevator. We're down and around. We have to switch this to A. Or do we? We should, yeah. Let's just switch to A for now. If we have to come back, we'll come back. Let us go around to Trish Springs. I almost fucking died there, Jesus. Head down? Am I going the right way? What the fuck? I think I was better off just going through the fucking elevator. And no SP. Hello, Trish. How are you? Thank you. I should have saved. I opened up the switchboard and flipped on the power to the elevator. I didn't know how they did it, but it looked like it was set up to automatically cut the power if the elevator is not used at a fixed time. These security protocols are such a pain in the ass, but if they're sticking with them so rigorously, they must be hiding something that's worth it. I stepped onto the elevator and pressed the button for the floor 2. For the second floor. Hi. When the elevator opened, a robot I've never seen before pointed the muzzle of a heavy gun at me. It reminded me of the Order of the Holy Lance from the other side. A model number XO was painted on the body. Throw down your weapon and surrender. You may be a child, but I will show no mercy. It looked like someone was piloting it. The young guy I beat up earlier screamed from the other side of the fence next to me. Turn that goddamn brat into mincemeat. It seemed like he managed to wake up and made a report to the higher-ups. The guy inside this thing must have known how to get to the 4th floor. All I had left to do was pull him out and make him spill his guts. Now, if this motherfucker steals my persona, I'm gonna be pissed. Just Nova Kaiser. I probably should have saved. Oh. Ow. We'll turn on that. Just to see the animations. We'll heal after this. Use a bead. He's almost dead anyways. He's already sparking. Good thing we healed when we did, because yeah, he was definitely more than one shot. This should kill him. Yeah. Good shit, Tetsuya. Oh, damn it, useless piece of junk. The drive line shorted out and smoke started rising from all over the mech. The scrap iron hatch opened and the pilot jumped out. He tried to draw the gun at his hip, but the tip of my sword in his face was enough to get him to behave. The young man on the other side of the fence had already vanished. Hands up. What's your objective? Don't think you can make it out of here alive. I pushed my blade forward the tiniest bit. The tip sunk into his forehead and a line of blood traced down his nose. Get in the elevator. Understood. The man held up both hands while keeping him in my peripheral vision. I maintained my stance and smoothly moved around him towards the elevator, all the while my blade remained against his forehead. He groped one hand for the elevator button, and after a moment the door opened. My blade still against him, I walked in without hesitation while he bent back and revolved the cage back first. I kicked him in the chin, momentarily knocking him senseless. I grabbed the nape of his neck, made him stand up, shoved his face into the button panel, and stole the automatic handgun off his hip. When I released the safety and pulled back the slide, I found that one of the bullets had already been fired. I ejected the shell and let it roll towards the floor. I was just aping Mayani. I should have been able to handle this weapon all right. I pressed the muzzle up to the back of this man's ear. 4th floor. With blood dripping from his head and nose, the man pushed the buttons 311, 232, 13B1 in that order. When he pushed the G button slightly downwards, the elevator began to move. I grabbed the nape of his neck and made the man stand in front of the doors. If this was a trap, he'd be the one getting shot for it. When we passed the 3rd floor, the number 3 on the panel floor number indicator started flickering. Several seconds passed and the door opened. It looked like we had reached the 4th floor. I figured security guards would be lying in wait, but no one was here. I pushed the man forward and left the elevator. I heard it was here. When I made him guide me to where Shiori-san was, the man stopped in front of a room that looked like a research lab. While I was at it, I might as well find out who they are. Who are you people? What are you doing here? You came here not knowing that? Who in the world are you? Without a word, I pulled back the gun's hammer. Even if I told you about the New World Order, a kid like you wouldn't understand a thing about it. Only the technicians know the details of what's going on inside. Shinjo is conducting a bunch of different experiments using the subjects that were delivered. Is he the boss? Shinjo's only the manager for this location. I imagine the scandal if people knew who was really in charge. Tetsuzo Sudo. I'm sure you've at least heard the name. A kid like you couldn't even touch a great man like him. The New World Order will create a new world without sin. Tetsuzo Sudo, Tetsuya Sudo's father, and the man who screwed my dad over. If my memory served me right, even now he would still be the foreign minister. I got it. He would be able to use the cops, the mafia, the mass media, and facilities like this as he pleased. By all appearances, it was a safe bet that Tetsuzo was his favorite errand boy. I silenced the loose-lipped pilot with a strike to the back of the neck with my gun and passed through the door to the research lab. Is that... what's-her-face? Around the center of the lab, there was a demon restrained on a revolving lab table set upright. It hung its head like a crucified sinner. Its blood-red hair was long as a shroud and cloaked in its face from a view. Its overall form looked human enough, but its skin color was difficult to describe beyond that it was clearly not of this world. If it were so inclined, the talons on both its hands could easily tear through the lab table on which it was restrained, along with the men in white standing on either side. It looked like it had been sedated or something. The men in white seemed to have noticed my arrival. They backed away several steps, but somehow they didn't seem too surprised. There was no one else in the room. A horrific premonition skittered up my spine. Glaring at the men in white, I barged straight in while thrusting the gun at them. I stole a clipboard holding a chart from the narrow-eyed man and looked it over. On the chart, the process of Shiori-san's metamorphosis into a demon was documented via a series of photos. By deliberately allowing a persona to take over, they transformed her into a demon. It seemed like this was an experiment to change a person into a demon by swapping a demonic archetype, sleeping in the collective unconsciousness with a human consciousness. Ugh. I uttered a wordless scream and landed 2 blows on the leg to the middle-aged man trembling next to the narrow-eyed man. As he squealed like a pig and crumbled, I grabbed the narrow-eyed man by the collar and slammed him onto the operating table. Change your back now. I put pressure on the narrow-eyed man's throat with my left arm and pressed the muzzle between his eyes as I shouted. I can't. I was only entrusted with elapsed observation and anesthetic management, and then who can? Who the hell thought up this bullshit? Takahisa Kandori. Kandori supplied the theory. Right now he's going by the name of Shinjo. Where the hell is he? Just up ahead at the JSM. The narrow-eyed man pointed a finger, trembling with terror and oxygen deprivation at the inner door. I wanted to kill him. All these bastards should die. I couldn't stop myself from putting more strength into the arm holding him up by his throat. The narrow-eyed man's eyes popped open and his tongue lolled out as he gasped for air. He tried to peel my arm off with both hands, but what did he think he could do when he was that weak? do it. Crush the life out of him. A dusky impulse blew up from the bottom of my heart and became a black flame. The bruise he left on me ached as if it were being squeezed on the right now. At my back, I heard a series of intermittent metallic clanks and the sound of something heavily thudding on the floor. I returned to my senses, and when I turned around, Shiori-san was collapsed on the floor, convulsing and trying to pull herself upright. The middle-aged man had reached out to the desktop computer and unlocked the lab table. Guru la kwa. When Shiori-san murmured those words, otherworldly words, and rose to her knees, the room temperature dropped in an instant. With a sound like a whistle, a scalpel, sharp, freezing wind began to whirl around us. She can never return to the way she was. She switched perfectly with an archetype from the collective unconsciousness, and the only one who knows how to restore her lost ego is Kandori. The middle-aged man kept frothing at the mouth as the blood flowing from his leg froze over. Even that spray blew into the violently spiraling wind like glittering diamond dust. The sinful persona Joker has called the Wind Walker from the unfathomable unconsciousness. She has become one of the great old ones who once ruled the earth. Arise, Ithaqua, the Wendigo. Ozuki-kun, why don't we confirm the experiment's results with our own eyes? Incarnated demons, a great old one, and an archetype using a human body. This is a unique opportunity to learn which can best utilize its abilities. With a feeling of despair, I stared up at the completely changed Shiori-san from behind as she floated into the air. What do I do? Anesthesia in that tank there. The narrow-eyed man, or Ozuki as he was called, pointed at the big tank next to us with his eyes as I was pinning him down. Right, this guy said he was in charge of administering anesthetic or something like that. While I considered how to do this, Shiori-san's head spun a full 360 degrees as she turned to face me. Do you mean 180? Nova Kaiser, yeah. Well, you know what? No, let's defend. Let's see how much damage you end up doing, or what you do. 36, okay. Let us just play it safe here. We'll use a bead. Oh, well, there's the diamond dust. Am I weak? Yes, I am. And I'm frozen. Fan-fucking-tastic. I'm assuming you're weak to fire as well, so we'll try an Agadine first, and then we'll go to Nova Kaiser. 305. .305 versus 211. Okay. If she keeps doing the same rotation of things, she'll basic attack here, and then we'll guard for the diamond dust. That's fine. Not great. We'll defend here because she should use diamond dust then, I'm assuming. If she does not, we'll defend again, I guess. Maybe. No. Okay, so it's not a predetermined rotation that she's doing. Let's keep using Agadine. Okay, let's do an Agadine. Another one. I forget how much damage Diamond Dust did. Killer Wind. 70. I don't know if Diamond Dust did 300, so to be safe, we'll do a bead. See with this. 138. So not too much, but the only problem really is if the freeze happens, That's basically we can't do anything for 2 turns, depending on when it happens. Or, yeah. Like that.
Koi.
Good shit. And I'm sorry, but you're probably dead. Maybe we can get to the anesthesia. Yeah. When I tackled Shiori-san to the ground, I sliced open the thick anesthesia pipe, creeping through the floor with my sword. Liquid gas blew out from the pipe and splashed all over Shiori-san. Fushua! Barring her fangs, Shiori-san tried to stand with deadly precision. She slammed into the pipe with all of her strength. Goopa! Gradually, all the while making gurgling noises as the anesthetic poured into her, Shiori-san's body finally relaxed and went still. I didn't have the slightest clue of how much she could have, or she should have ingested. Thanks to the volatile gas, my head was spinning. That's enough. Ozuki, who was trembling in a corner of the room, turned the tank's valve shut. When I glanced at the middle-aged man, I saw he was frozen to death with a gruesome expression of manic delight. How long will it hold? Probably about 2 hours or so, and to think you used enough to knock out an African elephant for 3 days. Ozuki came up next to me and looked down at Shiori-san. He also glanced at the middle-aged man's corpse, but he averted his eyes in a hurry. Sorry about earlier. If the middle-aged man hadn't undone Shiori-san's bindings, I might have run away with my hatred and killed Ozuki. Sure, he participated in the experiment that put Shiori-san in that state, but he also gave me a hint on how to put her to sleep. No, it's alright. This woman is an acquaintance of yours, right? I couldn't blame you if you'd killed me. Shinjo, or rather Kandori, you said he was just ahead, right? Yeah, he was ordered to slow you down. He ordered us to slow you down while he was welcoming the other intruders. The JSM, I mean, the machine for separating Jokers from Joker users, is down the hallway. Straight ahead, Kandori's there. I'll be back.